Hi everyone and welcome to episode 126 of the Talk is Cheap show. Glad to be back after a little breakout. We're here again in the studio. I've got with me my guest, my co-host, resident expert, show analyst, former professional footballer, social media icon. What else can I say about this guy that's not been said already? Mr. Curtis Shaw from Curtis Shaw TV in the house. What you saying, bro?
What's happening, bro?
How you been, man?
Yeah, man, good to be back. You know what, switched off a little bit at the end of the season, man. So
that's
we're back
understandable. What have you been up to?
now. I just had a little holiday with the family and that, and just, you know, come back, hopefully transfer season lights up a little bit.
We're going to talk about it, man. We're going to talk about it. But I see your hometown club had a nice little end to the season there.
Yeah.
Richest game in the world, so-called. Come through with a little bit of aid from John Moss, it has to be said. But but you were pleased about that, weren't you?
Yeah, it's good for the city in general. I think Forest, like 23, 24 years, they haven't been in the Prem, so it'll be interesting to see how they get on. It's a good away day next year as well.
Yeah, of course we'll be
man.
playing them next season. I hope we do better next season than we did this season.
Yeah, exactly.
When, let's face it, Forest kind of put it on us a little bit, man. But hey, man, it's good to, traditional big club.
Yeah,
I think it's good to have them back. So yeah, look forward to that. Also, since we spoke last, some international football to speak of. I know you're very excited about You're very excited about the international scene, aren't you? I can see it on your face.
Yeah.
But let's talk about it very, very briefly. England games in the Nations League, 2 games. The first game, a loss to Hungary, 1-0, not the most exciting of games. What's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, it's just... It was background noise, I can't lie. I wasn't even really watching it too much, but yeah.
I watched it, man. A couple of hours of my life that I'm not going to get back. But I did watch it.
Channel 4 as well. What's that coverage all about, man?
Yeah, they took a lot of stick, man. But then, listen, it's a hard sell, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a hard sell, man, to be fair to them.
Yeah, it's not easy.
But I must admit, I did enjoy the Germany game.
That was
a couple of days
game.
after that. It was a better game, better atmosphere. Better team, better football. My thoughts, 1-1. I thought that was a fair result, actually. What do you think?
I thought
A lot of people said that Germany were the better team, but I mean, we did create some very good chances,
especially
at the end. Especially when Grealish come on.
Yeah, you just like we were saying off camera, man. Southgate, he's got to take this handbrake off, hasn't he, man? Jeez, like you got so much attacking talent, and you watch England, you're like, come on, make something happen. Yeah. Sometimes we got better players on the bench than on the pitch.
Yeah. I'm conflicted with that, and we did. You're right. We did speak about this before we come on air. With England, I feel with Gareth Southgate is that he's ushered in a new era. We're starting to see young, exciting players of the likes that probably we wouldn't have seen with previous managers. Don't think we would have seen that under Allardyce.
Yeah.
So I'll give him credit for that, and it seems to be a new kind of cultural revolution and a new sort of vibe, which I'm very comfortable with. I'll give him credit for that. But at the same time, I think for the quality of players that we have, we're still slightly underachieving. I know that sounds difficult when you consider that, we got to the final of the Euros and we got to the semi-final of the World Cup. But you just think that if we are going to win these competitions, he's got to, like you say, let the handbrake off, let the players express themselves a bit more. People like Grealish have got to start in that. What do you think, man?
I think you look at that Euros, England really should have won that. Italy in the final at home, only your own fans there. You can't help but feeling like a better manager would have won a tournament with this squad. But listen, he's got the World Cup this year. It'll be difficult, but they've got a chance. So hopefully, they're ready by the time it turns up.
And talking of international football, people forgive me, but we got to talk about it. Jamaica.
Come on, finally.
The Reggae Boys get a win at last against the mighty Suriname.
Hey.
3-1, man. I mean, hey, for us Jamaica fans, man, that was a big win. Needed, especially, I don't know if you guys are aware, but the backdrop of that game was there's been a lot going on behind the scenes with the Jamaica national team. Basically, they made a recruit drive to try and bring in some of the English-born players who obviously got Jamaican heritage. But there's been a lot going on because the English guys have been complaining. Well, not just the English guys, even the guys who are native to Jamaica are complaining about the organisation's just been so bad. So many things going wrong behind the scenes. Absolutely shambolic running of the team. It got to the stage where the players actually said, look, you know what, this is it. Unless you get rid of the General Secretary of the Jamaica Football Federation, I think his name's called Dalton Wynn. Unless you get rid of him, we're not going to play anymore. So effectively, the players were threatening to go on strike. But it would appear that player power had its way. Dalton Wint resigned, and
Dalton Wint lost, I think.
and maybe not surprisingly, the result was a positive one for Jamaica. 3-1 against Suriname, as I've said. Opening goal, I saw it online there. What a goal by Ravel Morrison, from the Ravel Morrison of Derby, that is. Great free kick. What's your thoughts?
No, it's nice to see Jamaica win, man, because they've been having a tough time.
Woeful, man.
Woeful time. And you think with the talent that they've got available and players that they've been trying to call up, they should be qualifying for World Cups or getting close, at least. Obviously, as you know, I speak to the manager.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say this now. Like, Curtis is a good man to talk to about it. We're not going to go on long, guys, but hear me out. So Curtis, right, he's represented Jamaica at international level. So you're a good person to talk to with this sort of stuff. Tell us about some of your experiences when you, very briefly, of course.
Do you know what? Is
it as shambolic as we're led to believe?
It's difficult because a lot of the English-born players, obviously they're playing in the Premier League, the Championship, they've seen certain standards. You go over there sometimes, you know, you're training on some dusty pitch and that. It's different, That's all I could say, but they need to sort the whole federation out, man, because there's so much potential there. And the people love the football over there, but the setup's just not good enough, man.
I always say to people, you know, when I go to Jamaica, even me, I'm actually quite surprised at the passion that there is about football.
They love it, man.
People tend to think that with Jamaica, it's cricket and athletics and that. Don't get me wrong, athletics is very big in Jamaica. Cricket is big, although not as big as it once was. But football, man, you know what I mean? They love their football out there. Everyone I meet in Jamaica, they've always got a Premier League team.
Enough Arsenal fans over there.
Enough Arsenal fans, man. Enough. Arsenal. Everywhere you go, you'll see. In fact, the two sort of replica shirts that you see often in Jamaica are Arsenal and Man United. And a little bit of Liverpool and Chelsea, but definitely Arsenal is the #1 supported club out there. So, you know.
Yeah, man.
So, so listen. So you're alluding to the resources are not what they are in the Premier League. Well, of course, we expect that to be the case. But even so, simple things like organising flights for the players, man.
I mean, Suriname, didn't they get back to Jamaica before the Jamaican players? Them man couldn't even get back to their home ground.
Yeah, and apparently that was the straw that broke the camel's back, the players. They released a statement. It's online. Go and have a look at it. It's quite interesting read. But they're basically saying, look, until this guy goes, heads have got to roll. So it looks 100%. Like that's happened. Paul Hall is the guy that you know. He's the coach for Jamaica. What's he like?
He's a good guy, man. Very good coach. Works at QPR. Obviously played for Jamaica. I think he played in the '98 World Cup for Jamaica. So he knows his stuff, but they've got to back him. You know, if he doesn't get the right backing, it'll be difficult.
Who knows? Maybe things will improve and we'll get
hopefully
our first World Cup appearance since 1998. Seems like. But anyway, right, that's the Jamaica thing done with. Right, so for our main topic of the day, I thought we'd talk about the transfer window, opening on Friday the 10th of June, and it runs through to the 1st of September. And I thought we'd talk about what Arsenal need in the new window. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
could be a long shopping list.
I mean, listen, the season starts in August, and we'll be playing European football for the first time in a couple of years. So for the 2022-23 season, there'll be a lot to contest, won't there? You've got Premier League, obviously, 2 domestic cups, and then, of course, you've got the Europa League. What's your minimum requirement, just off the top?
For me, I want to see Champions League football, so whether that's top 4 or winning the Europa League, I think that's got to be the expectation. So you want one of those two.
So you want that. Cup competitions?
Yeah, it would be nice to win a domestic cup. It's always nice to win trophies.
What about the Europa League, though?
That's
what I
mean.
What's your minimum requirement there? To win it? Or?
Listen, we've got to go far in that. If we don't get top 4, for me, we've got to win the Europa League. One of those two, but it's not easy to win.
Definitely not. And of course, we're going to need a squad that's capable of achieving those things. So since the end of the season, if we look at the business that Arsenal have done or not done, or players that come in and going, I think the main activities around people leaving. So Guendouzi, we now know that he's gone to Marseille for 9.9 mil. Constantino Mavropanos, remember him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just about.
He's gone to Stuttgart for just under 3 million. Of course, Lacazette. He's now gone to Lyon on a free transfer. Players coming in. Saliba, what's your thoughts on that?
Oh, I mean, it was nice to hear that interview from him actually, because it was like, come on, what's going to happen? It was interesting that he never really mentioned speaking to the club or the manager. It was almost as if he was saying, I'm coming back, man, I'll see you at training, you know. But listen, it's one thing him coming back, it's another thing him playing games. So I just hope he gets the opportunity that I think his talent deserves. But I think I'm excited about him coming back.
Well, he's had a great season in Marseille.
Very good, very good.
I mean, and I think I'm like you. I'm excited to see him back, but also like you, it was noticeable that same enthusiasm and energy that Saliba had wasn't quite reciprocated by the manager. Was it? I haven't really heard him say much, if anything. Which I'm a little concerned about that, to be honest. But hey, we'll see how that plays out. Ainsley Maitland-Niles will be back, won't he?
Yeah, I don't think he'll be at Arsenal next year, to be fair.
But he is officially an Arsenal player.
He is. And listen, I think he would be a good squad player in like the Europa League and stuff, but I just think he'll want to play first team football. He's got a year left on his deal. I think they'll probably move him.
And our friend Hecky B.
Your best friend. I bet you can't wait for him to come back.
Well, the situation with that is up in the air as well, isn't it? Because it would appear that Betis want to keep him.
And
he wants to go back there, but they can't afford his wages. How do you see that one playing
I think he'll go. I think Arsenal have to write they'll write a little check, say, listen, we'll make up whatever they can't, kind of thing.
Yeah, okay. And players currently being linked with Arsenal. There's been a few. I'm just going to run through them quickly, and you can give me, your thoughts on them. Aaron Hickey, Scottish defender. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know too much about him. Seen him a couple of times. Looks a bit similar to Tierney, actually, but two-footed Scottish fullback. I do think we need another fullback. Yeah. Tierney's injury-prone. Tavares, not quite sure about him. But yeah, this guy, I can't really say how good he is, but he looks a good prospect.
Gabriel Jesus?
I mean, do you know what? This guy's name, every day, this is going to be the one of the summer, isn't it? You talk about him
every
all summer.
There's
one player.
There's one player.
I'm still waiting for Draxler and Jan and Villa to turn up. But
I'm still waiting for Vlahovic.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that one?
We'll sign him in about 7 years, probably. But Jesus, I mean, I've said before, I think we'll sign him. I do think we will sign him. I think it'll be a good signing.
Yeah.
It's funny, when we was looking like we might get top 4, I was like, Jesus, he's all right, maybe I'd take him. Now we're in Europa League, I'm like, yeah, man, give me him. You know what I mean? Listen, I think it's just negotiation between City. They're kind of linking him with other clubs, I think, to drive the price up. But I do.
Well, I'll tell you what I found slightly disappointing from an Arsenal perspective. We've been linked with this guy for a while now, and like you, I would welcome Gabriel Jesus to Arsenal, no doubt. I think he could bring a lot, experience, goals. Yeah. He's Premier League battle tested already. Young, energetic, would suit the club's pressing style. Yeah. So yeah, all those things, cool. But my issue is we've been linked with this guy now since before the end of the season. That was some weeks ago. And here we are now. Nothing concrete's been done. And also we're hearing that clubs like Tottenham and Chelsea and Real Madrid are sniffing around. So at the point of the show here, we're talking, it's still not been resolved. So technically, any of those guys could swoop in and get it.
I think the problem is, imagine you're his agent, you're going to speak to Arsenal, say, right, we're in the top 4, this is what we'll give you. All of a sudden, Arsenal end up in Europa League. You go, that 150 grand needs to be 200 grand. And you know what? I need 2 more weeks to think about it because Real Madrid have. So I think if we was in the Champions League, that would have already been a done deal. But I think with Europa League, he probably wants to look at his options. But I do actually think we'll get him.
But in comparison to some of the other aforementioned teams there, your Tottenham, Chelsea, Real Madrid, I think Arsenal could say to Jesus, look, unlike these other guys, you will be number starting regularly. If not guaranteed start, you will be, you know what I mean? Yeah. So surely that has to play a part.
I think that's why we'll get him. It's the World Cup year. At the moment, he's not starting for Brazil. They've got Richarlison starting, and I think, like you said, Madrid is going to be Benzema up front, Kane at Spurs.
Yeah.
I mean, Chelsea, I don't know, maybe if they get rid of Lukaku, but I think it'll take a while for that to happen. So that's why I think he'll end up at Arsenal.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. It's just that it's a little bit disappointing.
He's more falling into Arsenal than choosing us. It's more,
exactly. It's just a little, that kind of speculation that we don't want. We thought we nailed him, get it done, that's it.
But hopefully.
Yuri Tillemans, another one that we've been linked with for a while now.
Yeah.
And again, that's not really been firmed down either.
Yeah.
I must admit, I do admire the player. I do think it could work at Arsenal. Goal scoring midfielder, seems to have all the physical attributes that you would need from a midfielder. But that's me. What do you think?
No, listen, he's an upgrade on Xhaka in my opinion, next to Thomas Partey, and he wouldn't have been top of my list, but
will he displace El Neni though?
No. Listen, El Neni, man, you just relax. Europa League.
No, listen, enough respect to El Neni.
Yeah, he finished the season.
He's got a contract extension, and
I don't know how, but no, he finished the season.
In terms of his playing, what he did, he deserves it. Now, whether he's like your long-term person, that's a different argument. So I'm not hating on him getting the deal.
Yeah. No, Tillemans though, I think again, listen, I'd welcome him now, especially in the Europa League. You're not going to have the pick of all the best players now. You've seen that with Darwin Núñez. We were linked with him in January. All of a sudden, Liverpool. We're not even in the running. You don't even mention us.
No, but you know what was interesting about the Darwin Núñez? No sooner as Liverpool were linked with him, within a couple of weeks later, boom, deal done.
Deal's yeah, exactly.
Or pretty much done.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean?
But that's what happens when you're at the top. You know what I mean? We're below. Oh well, you know. But yeah, Tillemans, listen, he's got a year left on his deal. I think he wants to come to Arsenal, although again, they've mentioned that he wants Champions League. But I think him and Jesus, I think both, we've got a good chance of getting both of them. If we got those two in as the first two transfers, I think that's a very good start to the window. Yeah, we'd need a bit more.
And I've got to ask you, Curtis, this one kind of come from left field. I wasn't really expecting this one, but it's come out of the blue. And it appears there is some mileage in it. Zinchenko, Man City at the moment, but there's a lot of talk that Arsenal are looking at a possible move there. What do you think?
You know, I think it'd be a smart signing. You know what? It's about time, like Arteta, just ring Pep and say, "Listen, Pep, man, what you got for me? You got any players knocking? you got any players knocking about?"
Haaland's coming, so you can have Jesus. Yeah, anyone else?
Yeah, you can have Zinchenko. Now, listen, Zinchenko's an interesting one because he can play left back, which I think you need someone to challenge Tierney. He can play midfield, and he's left-footed. He's 25. He looked decent centre mid for Ukraine. I think they want about 20-30 million for him.
Also got leadership.
Exactly.
He's captain of Ukraine, isn't he? He's captained City before as well.
And obviously he won't be going to the World Cup now, which, you know, he's not going to be as tired with the games coming up. So I think he would be a good signing. I wouldn't sign him as our main midfield signing. I think you need to get a Tillemans or someone, and then if you get Zinchenko as well, I would be in favour of that. I think it's a smart sign.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate on that. I think that could work. That can work. Because like you said, he can play in different positions. He's experienced. Like you said, he's got leadership qualities. And of course, he's battle-tested, battle-ready, can come straight in. Knows what the Premier League is all about. So I wouldn't hate on that at all, Okay then, so let me just ask you then, we spoke about players that we've been linked with. Looking at the squad as a whole, would you say that major surgery is required, or do you think that there's just a few adjustments or people to bring in and stuff like that? Or do you think it's wholesale?
I don't think it's wholesale.
Root and branch?
No, I don't think it's wholesale. I think we need maybe 3 or 4 to go into the team, into the starting 11. And then I think we need a couple to go on the bench as well. Because obviously this year, you can make 5 subs in the Premier League. You need to be bringing on quality. You can't be bringing on youths off the bench. You know what I mean? Some of these top teams have got 5 quality players.
That's right.
You've got the World Cup mid-season. That's going to tire a lot of players out. And then obviously Europa League as well could add maybe another 10, 12 games on our season. So for me, we need a centre midfielder to go and play next to Partey.
Actually, before you go there, I was going to preface by saying,
what position?
The different areas of the field. So obviously you've got goalkeepers, defence, midfield and strikers. So that's 4 areas, right? So let's start with the goalkeepers. As a collective, the obvious one that leaps off the page here is Leno. What's going to happen with Leno?
I think Leno will leave. I would like to keep him. I actually think he's a good goalkeeper. But
it's interesting, because towards the end of the season, it's interesting how, Ramsdale came and there was this blaze of enthusiasm and everything was right, which, for the most part, people still are. But just towards the end of the season, the narrative was shifting slightly, and people, because Leno did come in and play a couple of games and he played really well, and people were saying, "No, you know what? I'd quite like Leno to stay."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I think the
challenge
problem
for that place.
They've signed the boy, Matt Turner from America.
Yeah.
He's coming in. I think, to have him, Leno and Ramsdale is too much. I think they've probably already spoken to Leno and said,
The thing is, I don't think Leno's going to stick around unless he's been given some kind of assurance.
To be fair, he's too good to be a number 2, let's be honest. So I think Leno will go, Turner will replace him, Ramsdale will be number 1. So we don't really need a goalkeeper.
No. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Defenders? Yeah. Is there anything that leaps off the page at you where we need to? I mean, I know you're not blown away by Nuno.
Well, Nuno, no. I mean, listen, for me, I think Nuno could do with a loan, but they might keep him in the thought that he can play Europa League and kind of use those games to get experience. But for me, Tierney is almost the bigger issue in the fact that he's our main left back, and I think he's a quality left back, but he's so injury prone.
You know what I'm going to say here and now? Shout out to Jordan. I know he's going to watch this show. I remember Jordan coming on the show some months ago actually, and was saying that Arsenal may need to look at possibly even getting rid of him. Not because he's not a quality player and stuff like that, but because he's so injury prone, it's not really working out. And I think if we're being honest, he's not really played as many games as we would like. And the injury situation doesn't seem to be improving, does it? So projecting forward, we might have to do something in that area.
I think with Tierney, I'd give him 1 more year, just because I think there's such a shortage of good left backs. Rather than having to buy 2, I'd keep him and buy 1. But I get his point. I think if he has another injury-prone season, you've got a decision to make.
Definitely.
Saliba,
but do the club act now?
No, I don't.
Maybe bring in somebody? Or?
Well, I think they'll bring somebody in, but not to replace him, just to maybe challenge him, and obviously with his injury.
Which is why that Zinchenko thing might.
That would make a lot of sense. And then obviously Saliba coming back. That's really the centre-back option. I don't think they'll sign another centre-back. And then probably at right back, I mean, I've seen reports they're going to keep Cedric and Tomiyasu. So,
Well, I'll keep Tomiyasu.
Yeah, you wouldn't keep Cedric, no.
Listen, man, Cedric is... we have to remember, we got Cedric on a free from Southampton, right? So, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, was it ever a long-term solution? Now, I think he's done okay.
He's done all right.
But I think, if you're scouring the market, and something comes up, I think that might be a position that you might want to look at.
Yeah,
and that's no disrespect to Cedric. That's just, you see what I'm saying?
I'd like to see an attacking right back to challenge Tomiyasu, someone like Jed Spence or Lamptey or Max Aaron, someone like that. But I just think Arsenal probably got bigger priorities this year, so I think they'll stick with that. But
and people like Holding, you're happy for him to stay?
I mean, I would have got rid of Holding. But he gave him a new deal last summer, so he's not going to get rid of him.
I think with Holding, he's like that club man, isn't it? A bit like El Nene.
You just don't. You just don't want too many of them, though. That's the thing,
that's
you know. You don't want
no,
too
but you
many.
do need guys like that.
You need
guys
the odd
who
one,
can come in and do a job. No disrespect to them, they're not going to throw their toys out the pram if they're not playing every week. They're dependable, they're reliable, they're honourable men. They're always going to put a shift in. They may not be the most talented, but you do need guys like that in the squad. And for that, you know what I mean, you have to say he's worth his place in the squad. But again, you know what I mean, because like, it's interesting because with the centre-backs, you look at that, I would say it's Gabriel, AN other. And if Saliba comes back, then you've got a bit of a conundrum there, isn't it? Because
well, that's
is
the
it
battle,
play Ben White or Saliba?
I think at the start he'll stick with Ben White.
Because Ben White's his signing.
It's his signing. But if I'm Saliba, I'm coming into Arsenal saying, listen, somebody's going to have to sit on the bench. I've just got Young Player of the Year. I'm starting for France. But football doesn't always work like that. You know, if the manager's in favour of Ben White and Gabriel, so Saliba he's probably going to have to be patient and fight his way in. But I think he can. I think he can push.
And it's good to know that you've got players contesting those positions.
That's what you need. That's what you need.
That's what Mikel Arteta's getting that money for, man. Those decisions have to be made.
Yeah.
But like you said, Saliba's, like, to me, he kind of made a statement and said, I'm coming back, I'm looking to play, and that's it. Yeah, so anyone in defence, is there any any defenders out there that you've seen, like, that you think, you know what, I love him at Arsenal? And when I say that, I mean someone realistic.
Like I said, with the right backs, I like Spence, I like Lamptey. Centre back, I just don't think they're going to look for a centre back.
No, I don't think they need one right now. If they've got Saliba coming back, I think that's.
And then left back, I mean, they were being linked with Grimaldo, Spanish left back. He's not bad. Listen, they're not going to spend big money on a left back with Tierney there. That's the problem. I mean, they're going for this Hickey. I don't know too much about him, to be honest. So. Yeah,
that sounds very much like somebody. No disrespect to Aaron Hickey, but if they do get him, it'll be an understudy to.
He's a young player to come through in it.
I don't think that's someone that's going to seriously
challenge
for that position. But I guess they've got to cover themselves because, like you said, there does appear to be an injury problem there with him. Anyone else, defenders?
No, they're not going to buy any more than that, really. Yeah.
So let's move on to midfield then.
There's one player that needs to be upgraded.
The engine room of the team that is a very sort of controversial and, much spoken about area of the side.
Yeah.
Let me start by asking you, of the midfielders, of which there are a few, you got your Partey's, you got El Nene, you got Xhaka. Sorry? Lokonga, of course, yeah. Any of those that immediately you think, it's time to go?
Well, there's question marks over a few of them for me. I thought Lokonga I wasn't really that impressed with him. He wasn't bad, but he was kind of always just like, okay. Second season, they're not going to get rid of him.
And he's not really had many opportunities, to be fair.
No, and I think with Europa League, again, they can use that for him to get experience.
El Nene we've spoken about.
He signed a deal.
So I guess really it's probably not even worth talking about him.
So it's your boy Granit, mate.
Yeah, so what's going to happen with the Xhaka team?
See, the problem with Xhaka, I've always said, if you upgrade him, because of how his ego and personality is, I don't think he would sit on the bench. No, that's the problem. I think he would say, if I'm on the bench, I'm leaving. So it would be interesting, because last year I remember Edu saying they didn't want to upgrade on Xhaka and Partey. So if you bring in like a Tielemans, I can't see Granit Xhaka playing. So then do you sell him?
And I can't see Tielemans coming to Arsenal just to sit on the bench.
No chance. So
maybe that's why that deal's not
Granit for me, I think if he's willing to sit on the bench, cool. If not, I think you've got to move him on.
So if it's down to Tielemans and Xhaka,
I take Yuri Tielemans. Got goals in him. He's younger, can pass better. He's not the most mobile though, Tielemans as well.
But then neither is Xhaka, to be fair.
No, he's not. So for me, I think get that midfielder in. And I think you'll see a better Thomas Partey if you get a better midfield. He has had a decent partnership with Xhaka, but I just think Xhaka's reached his ceiling. I don't see him getting any better, and I just think, I think he shouldn't be starting for Arsenal next season in midfield, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a very interesting area of the side that, over the summer we're going to see how that plays out. But I don't know if Mikel Arteta feels the same way you do.
Yeah,
I think he's quite an admirer.
It wouldn't surprise me if Granit Xhaka was captain next season. Honestly, it wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise you, would it? You know what I mean? Because he loves the guy.
Actually, you know what? It might surprise me actually now because Odegaard that we're going to talk about later.
Oh yeah, maybe
the manager seems to like him.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Xhaka thing's interesting, man. I mean, you spoke about Partey as well. I think Partey's kind of nailed down to stay.
Course,
I think when he's fit.
Yeah, he's our main man.
He's our best midfielder at the moment. But to be fair to Xhaka, him and Partey did look the part, pardon the pun, at times this season. So, interesting.
Yeah.
But no midfielders that you've earmarked to say, we've got to go after this guy.
I mean, listen, we spoke about it before. I like Basuma. I really like him. I think he's a good player. Obviously, he's got this case or whatever hanging over him, but sounds as if he's going to come through that from what I've read. But I just think every time I watch him, I'm like, why have we not signed him? He's got a year left on his deal. He's quick, he's strong, he's improved on the ball, he knows the Prem. I mean, I don't know if you saw, he was reposting Arsenal stories on his Instagram account. I mean, the man's saying, I'm here, man, come and get me. But I just don't know. Most of the links seem to come from the fan base. I've never really heard the club or seen real reports going for him. But yeah, Basuma would be a no-brainer for me at Arsenal.
Yeah, I have to say, man, I've been seriously impressed with him as well. And I've spoken to a lot of other fans and they feel the same way. So why we quite haven't at least made a move for him or not, I don't know. It could be to do with what we just said, with the manager being happy with the likes of Partey, El Nene and Xhaka at the moment. Lokonga will probably stay. Maybe that's why he's not been too keen to do anything in that area of the pitch, apart from the Tielemans thing, as we mentioned already. Okay, that's a midfield. Moving on to strikers then.
Yeah.
I know this area of the pitch that concerns you a lot. You've been a striker. You know about how these dynamics work. I know you've got some thoughts on Eddie's deal. I know you're not blown away by that.
Wow, I mean, that one surprised me, I can't lie.
I must say, it didn't surprise me, you know. You did not.
The figures, though, 100 grand a week, I was just like, listen, I know football's changed nowadays and the money's getting bigger and bigger, but to me, I just looked at that like, for maybe 5-6 game spell at the end of the season. I think before those 6 games at the end of the season, everyone would have said, you know what I mean? So within 6 games, you've managed to earn a 4-5 year deal on 100 grand a week. And to me, I think Arsenal need 2 new strikers, but I think now Eddie signed that deal, we'll only sign 1 striker, because Eddie's not going to be third choice with 2 new strikers on 100 grand. So to me, that means, all right, let's say you sign Jesus and Eddie's number 2. I don't know if Eddie is good enough to be Arsenal's number 2 striker.
No, but at the moment, you would say he's a number 1 striker, isn't he?
Yeah, at the moment, because we haven't signed anyone, but obviously I think they will sign a striker before the window closes. But I'm just, the
I mean, the Gabriel Jesus one we spoke about. But is there anyone else out there that you're thinking?
I mean, I would have liked Darwin Núñez, you know, but obviously I think we're out of that race.
If we was ever
in it, yeah. I mean, the striker market's not great at the moment. I mean, I saw a link with Richarlison today.
I've seen that
as well. I actually think there's a good player there.
He's a very good player.
I think most people say no because of his personality and his attitude, and you think him and Arteta, how would they? You can't see how that would work. You know?
I think at some point there's going to be a fallout.
There's going to be a fallout, but
I think Richarlison's the kind of guy who's going to fall out with a lot of people.
But
I saw an incident the other day with him and Vinicius Jr. while they were on duty with Brazil. Neymar, of all people, breaking up the fight,
the most
acting as peacemaker, which I thought was a bit ironic. But Richarlison, very talented, again, Premier League ready, battle tested, proved himself as a good player. But there is that question mark against him. I'm not sure if that's going to happen anyway, to be honest.
No, I can't see it. But yeah, the striker market, it's not an easy one. You've got whoever you sign, you're taking a chance on them. You know, I think Jesus will be the one that we get, though. I do think he'll be the one. It's just interesting that in January we're going for Vlahovic, who's this 6-foot+ target man, and then at the end of the season you're signing Jesus, who's like 5'8", 5'9". He's like the total opposite. So what kind of striker profile did you really want? But
I think it comes down to what you can get ultimately.
Yeah.
Because with strikers, we all know that, let's be honest, with strikers, they're worth their weight in gold. That's why this is the most expensive position on the pitch.
Yeah.
You get a guy that can bang you in 20+ goals a season. That's
costs you a lot of money.
Yeah, that's that. And to be honest, I'm not sure if Eddie's that guy. Eddie's improving. He will get you goals. He will put a shift in. But is he going to get you that 20+ goals that will propel yourselves into?
No chance.
No?
Maybe in the Carabao Cup.
He said that here first. He said that, no chance.
Man.
Do you don't think there's any way?
Listen, I give Eddie his credit. He's still at a good age. He could still improve. Strikers don't, they're not really at their best in their early 20s. But, it's just, have we got time for him to become that player at Arsenal? But he's going to stay.
I've got a solution to all that. What I think in signing Eddie and Jesus and people like that is that there may not be your ultimate number 9s, like in the sort of the mould of a Harry Kane. However, I think what I see with Arsenal is that those goals get shared around the team.
Yeah,
So Eddie, Jesus, Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, people like that.
Yeah.
Martinelli, of course. Yeah, who can forget Martinelli? So I think that's where we're going as a club.
I get it.
Talking of which, Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard, and Smith Rowe. Happy with those guys?
Yeah. I mean, Saka, I think he just broke the record. First player to get Player of the Season twice in a row since Thierry Henry. So, at a young age.
That's lofty.
Yeah.
That's lofty.
Also, a lot of I see clubs looking at him. They're going to have to.
Yeah,
give
I was going to say, Man
contract.
City, no less.
I mean, listen, if I'm Saka and I'm seeing Eddie on 100 grand a week, I'm saying, bro, if I'm his agent, I'm asking for 200 grand a week. Seriously, because...
What I was going to say as well, if the Man City interest is real, do you really think that Arsenal can keep Saka? Can we stop him from going?
I don't think he'll go this summer. I don't think City are prioritising a winger. I don't think they're really going for him now, but I think maybe next summer, you look at Mahrez, people out there, 30, 31 now. Listen, man, if Pep comes knocking at your door and you're at Arsenal, and Arsenal are not in Champions League, that's a very difficult deal to turn down. Almost impossible.
I would say that
to turn down.
It's
almost impossible.
Difficult, nigh on impossible. Because come on, man. At the end of the day, you couldn't blame the guy if he did it. Look what's on offer at City.
They got everything, haven't they?
They've got everything. Even the guys you're going to be playing with, Haaland, De Bruyne. You know what I mean? The list is endless. You're going to be winning trophies. Absolutely no doubt about that. You're going to be playing in Champions League football. It's going to enhance his England career. It's almost a no-brainer.
This is the problem when you're creating what you call a project or process, because it only takes one club to go and cherry-pick someone. Because we had this with Arsene Wenger when we had all the young players. Then Fabregas went. You know what I mean? Then Nasri went, and all of a sudden your whole project gets broken apart.
Absolutely.
And then that's why I was so disappointed that we missed out on fourth. But we need to get it this year.
We do.
It'll be harder.
And this is why these kind of conversations are important, really, because we want to know what the club is doing. Let me just ask you. I was going to ask you the direction of the travel of the club. Are you happy with it? Well, I mean, okay. The window's going to open, and there's a way to go. So obviously, we don't quite know how it's going to play out. But from what you're seeing, is a direction of travel in line with what you would expect a club like Arsenal to?
I would have to say, not really. I'm not. how I would put it is, it's very difficult as an Arsenal fan now to be confident that they're going to make the right signings in this window, because we've been here so many times before. Do you know what I mean? You can see that Arsenal need a midfielder, need a striker, need a couple of squad players. Will they make the right signing? I hope they do. Hopefully we're sitting here at the end. If they get Jesus, Tielemans, maybe a Zinchenko, couple of squad players, bring back Saliba, I'd say I think that's a good window. But if they don't get Jesus, he ends up somewhere else. What striker are you going to get? And then midfield. Very fine margins. Edu and Arteta got to earn their money, man. That's what they're paid for.
And that was going to be my supplementary question. Edu and guys like that, are you confident that these guys can get the deals over the line? Because in the past, that has been a problem.
Listen, Edu's got to prove it. I think a lot of people have said he's only really got Thomas Partey over the line as a big transfer, and he had a release clause. So he didn't have to negotiate. So, yeah, I think he's going to have to prove himself this year. Use them Brazilian connections, man. You know what I mean?
Well, we'll see. We're kind of wrapping up now. So, we've gone through the different areas of the pitch. And you can see that, there are positions there that do need to be filled. It's whether we can get those guys in. But you've said that if we can get the likes of Tielemans and Zinchenko and Jesus and people like that, you'll be happy. And I think I would agree with that. I would concur with that. So, we'll see how it plays out. Like I said, the window, 10th of June starts, ends in September. There's a couple of months there. So it's all to play for. We'll see how it goes. Finally, the fixtures come out in a week's time. Always an exciting time when the fixtures come out. If I could ask you, give me a team that you would like to play for our first game of the new season.
Oh man, that's a dangerous question.
Isn't it?
You just don't know. Like automatically,
Forest?
I wouldn't mind, yeah, but I'd rather play them at our place.
Yeah.
I don't want to go
You
to
always
the,
want a home game.
You don't want to go away from home, newly promoted crowd. I'd take Forest at the Emirates. That'd be a good game.
Yeah, I'd take that.
I'd take that.
There's a few I'd take.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about Man United, man? That would be at home, first game of the season.
It'd be a big start to the season, wouldn't it?
Newcastle. Yeah.
Again, a lot depends on signings, don't it? You look at last year, we started the season, we hadn't signed all our players yet. So
Mind you, last season we played a newly promoted club.
and got
first
turned
game of
over.
the season.
Away from home, though, that's
away
what
from
I'm
home,
saying.
yeah. And we did have a few injury concerns as well. So, but yeah, man, that'll be exciting when the fixtures come out. But yeah, I'll take Forest at home. I know there's a few I'll take, but that would be one of them I'd take. Yeah. But yeah, listen, man, thank you very much for your thoughts on that. Like I said, this time of the year, obviously, there's no football as such. Well, league football, domestic football. But, you know, to see the way the clubs are going about their business is always an interesting time for me, because you can kind of use that as a guide moving forward to see how the clubs are going to do. And I'll be very interested to see on what deals Arsenal can get across the line and see how it plays out from there. So listen, bro, thank you very much for that. We've come to the end of the show. I've enjoyed having you on. I've enjoyed our discussion. People out there watching the show, give us your thoughts, man. Who would you like to see come in? Are you happy with Arsenal's direction of travel in terms of transfers and bringing players in, recruitment and retention? Are there anyone you'd like to see go? People coming in, let us know. Keep the show interactive. That's what we like. Curtis, my man, thank you very much for coming in.
Right.
Thanks to you guys for supporting. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you next week. We're out.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.